Howdy ho, Andrew here. Welcome to the Onion Buns and welcome to another weekly edition of Survey Time. So I liked last week's survey about the cats. So I think for the month of July, I want to go down an animal theme. So before that, here's a quick message. Hey all, just a quick mention here. Please like, subscribe, share, and comment on the videos you like. It helps with the YouTube algorithm, which helps me. Takes 2 seconds. So thanks in advance. All right. So as I said, I want to go down an animal theme. So for this month, which animal are you when you're angry? Now, we all get angry from time to time. It's just human nature. And if you're into politics, you probably get angry more often than not. But which animal are you when you're angry? Ever wonder what your inner spirit animal reveals when your temper flares? Are you a roaring lion or a striking snake? Let's find out with this lighthearted yet illuminating quiz. Which animal are you when you're angry? Feeling angry is as natural as breathing. But what kind of creature do you become when you're seeing red? It's time to venture into the wild. So fasten your safari belts, take a deep breath, and tackle our rip-roaring quiz to discover which animal you're most like when you're angry. All right, so let's give this a start. When your anger takes over, are you more like a hunter or the hunted? I'm a capricious wild card and it's hard to predict. I still attempt to mediate peace. I end up being the prey. I think it's hard to predict because it depends who I'm angry at. What sound mirrors your fury? A deafening, resonating roar? Hissing aloud? Pounding on things? Pounding on things. All the way. If you had to pick a shade for your anger, what would it be? Orange, indicative of vibrant energy? No. Red, symbolizing extreme wrath? Maybe. Black, denoting deep frustration? Yes, definitely. Purple, embodying regal, royal temperament. I'm going to go with denoting deep frustration because normally nothing makes me angrier than liars and people that talk on topics they don't know what they're talking about. And at the core of that is frustration for me. So black denoting deep frustration. When your belly is growling and you're fuming, what food item do you turn to? A super tangy lemon? A bar of intensely bitter dark chocolate? No, I hate chocolate, honestly. An extremely hot chili pepper? That's possible. A super salty pretzel. I'm going to go with the lemon because probably turn to something like lemonade or something. I love hot chili peppers, but not by themselves as an ingredient in a food. So let's go with the super tangy lemon. When your fury levels peaks, what do you do first? Strike something? Take deep soothing breaths? Scream out loud, cry? Oh, I scream. And then I strike something. You're in an unknown city and you're lost. How do you react? I locate the nearest delectable food joint and cool down. I mark my territory in camp. I study my environment carefully and decide my next step. I start yelling for help, hoping someone will come along. In a city, I'd probably take a step back and decide my next step. Actually, I have a funny story about this. In the late 90s, I was driving through the States. I did this monstrous driving tour of the United States. I came from Edmonton, Alberta, Canada, came down into Montana and through to Denver, Colorado. Escaped my mind there for a second. From there, I came down past Kansas City and all that and up to Lima, Ohio, and then went to Washington, D.C., and then up to Gettysburg, and then up to Plymouth Rock, and then over to Salem, Massachusetts, up to Toronto, down to Chicago, and then back through the Dakotas and back up into Alberta. So when I came from Gettysburg, I had spent the day in Gettysburg. Lots to see there. I strongly suggest everyone go there at least once in their life. So it was nighttime, and I'm coming down the highway in Pennsylvania. I'm driving to Plymouth Rock, Massachusetts, and I missed my turn off. Now, this is the late 90s, so there's no cell phones, there's no, Google or anything to pull up, or anything like that. You got a paper map, and I missed my turn off. So I saw a gas station up ahead. So I pulled into the gas station. I had my map with me, and I walk up, and the guy's talking to somebody else. So I stand there, I wait my turn politely. I'm a good Canadian. And so the other guy leaves, and I walk up to the guy. I go, yeah, I could use a hand here. I think I missed my turn. And I pull out the map, and before I could say another word, the guy just out of the blue, he looks at me and goes, okay, shut the fuck up and listen to me. Okay. Yeah. So, yeah, I think I'd just take a step back and decide my next course of action. All right. If your wrath could morph into a natural calamity, what would it be? A devastating, groundbreaking earthquake? A raging, spectacular thunderstorm? A monstrous hurricane? Oh, an explosive volcanic eruption all the way. When you're in a bustling mall, when you suddenly lose it, what do you do next? I resort to throwing stuff around. I find a peaceful nook and breathe. I clench my fists and try to calm down. I clench my fists and try to not calm down. You're squabbling with your friends. What's your move? I simply walk away from a raging dispute. I try to reduce the tension and cool things down. I keep my cool, but make my points. I blow up and let it all out. Well, it's between this one and this one. If it's about politics, I simply walk away. If it's gotten to that point, I walk away, because the only people I argue with are on the extreme radical left. It's funny. It's funny to me. I'm a moderate, okay? I go a little bit to the right on some issues. I go a little bit to the left on the other issues, but I am mostly a moderate, and I support whatever party in Canada is closest to the center. I don't do extremist politics. I have no time or patience for it. So if we're talking politics, that means I'm talking to one of my far left radical extreme friends, and I can converse with them to a point. But as soon as they start tossing out the stupid insults and the name calling and the pretend tough guy acts, I walk away. Nothing can be said. They're not talking policy. They're just acting out, and I just have no time for it. If we're not talking politics, I try to keep my cool and make my points. But yeah, it really comes down to the topic at hand. And it's funny to me, because if I talk to an alt-righter, like I know a bunch of alt-right people, and I talk to them, we have no problems. There's no we don't agree with each other, because again, I don't do extremist politics. But there's no name calling, there's no tantrums, there's none of that shit. They recognize I'm a moderate. I recognize that they're way farther to the right than me, and we agree to disagree, but there's no drama. But when I talk to the left, all it ever comes down to is drama. And I walk away. If I can. If I can walk away, I'll walk away. Otherwise, I won't try to reduce the tension. There should be a fifth option, is I just go silent. And that's what I'll do, is I'll go silent. So I guess I simply walk away from raging disputes, because the option I want to take, I just go silent, is not there. It depends on the topic. If it's not politics, I may try to make my points. But if it's politics, I recognize who I'm talking to, and I recognize when there's no sense. They made up their mind. They're not driven by facts or reality. And yeah, I'm not going to argue that. Just not going to do it. You're hanging out with your buddies and someone irks you. How do you retaliate? I fire back with civic response. I completely ignore the irritating combat. Okay, again, they're missing the fifth option. I become a sarcastic bastard. That is my go-to. So I guess it'll be, I turn the situation around with snippy but fun comeback. It's not really fun. Like I said, I become a really sarcastic bastard in those situations. But I guess this one fits the best out of the four. You're a creature of the jungle. What's your favorite chill out spot? High up in the tree branches, calmly floating in the river, basking on a gigantic rock, a snug and comfy den. A snug and comfy den. All right. And the last question of this survey. Your favorite chill pill to deal with anger is channeling the energy into creating some art, breaking into a sweat with some exercise, blasting my eardrums with music, cozying up with a gripping book. Well, it's one of these two. My YouTube channel was created in part to deal with anger and frustration I have with some people. But I'm also known to go outside and work on my garden. So it's one of these two. Let's go with the art because I'm more active on the YouTube channel than I am the garden, though I'm quite proud of the garden. I'm routinely told a few times every year that in my condo complex or townhouse complex, I have the nicest yard out of over 200 units. So I'm quite proud of that, but I'm at the point where I don't have to put a lot of work into it anymore. So I'm going to go with channeling energy into creating some art. All right, so drum roll, please. Dun dun dun. Bull. Which animal are you when you're angry? I'm a bull. Unstoppable force. Like a bull, when you're angry, there's nothing stopping you. You face the problem head on without hesitation. However, this also means that you're full of raw ambition and drive, which can occasionally lead to, yeah, okay, that's mostly true. Like I said, I may not face the problem head on without hesitation. It depends on the topic. But the rest of that is pretty accurate, actually. So, yeah, I'm a bull. I can accept that outcome. Alrighty. So that's my survey of this week. If you like my video, please leave a like, a subscribe, and a share. I'm trying to grow my channel, and a like, a subscribe, and a share does me wonders. And I do appreciate anyone that likes, subscribes, and shares. Always feel free to leave a comment. I encourage you to leave a comment. It gets us discussing about the video that we just watched, and it greatly helps with the YouTube algorithm, which helps me get more eyes on my video. So please do leave a comment. And as always, thanks for watching. Pew, 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 and shit. Bye.